Hi there, it's Karen, and I am here on my bed with Whiskey Sour, our little celebrity. He's been getting so much fan mail. You guys don't even know. He's still a little shy about the whole thing, though. We'll see if at some point in time it'll be me hanging over the bed, and then he can be here on camera talking to you and some stuff. I'm sure that would be really interesting. I read a great article today, and it was based on a novelist named M.J. Ryan, who writes a lot about happiness, the pursuit of happiness, all those things that we try to attain. And the article was about just some of the thoughts on happiness roadblocks. And it said in the article that the first step is to know what may be standing in your way and then learn how to reroute yourself. Here are some of the most common roadblocks to happiness and a guide for getting around them, according to this author, M.J. Ryan. And so I was reading through them, and some stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't. It's usually like this when you have, the top 10 or the top 5 or whatever it is. It's like, some of them you can see, some of them, not so sure about, but thought I'd read them to you anyway, because I found them interesting. Number 1 is expecting the worst all the time. Does the phrase, "if I expect the worst, then I won't be let down," cross your mind on a regular basis? Yeah, that does with me. I think if, I remember a therapist saying to me when I was a young teenager, if you have expectations of other people, you will be disappointed. And so I found that if I kind of got rid of some of those expectations and just let life kind of flow, I wouldn't be disappointed, and then everything would be just fine. So if I expect the worst, then I won't be let down. I mean, yeah, that's kind of how we react. But MJ was saying all you're doing by worrying or anticipating that something isn't happening and may never happen is you're keeping the stress response turned on way high and not enjoying whatever you could be enjoying in that moment. So maybe not having expectations versus expecting the worst. I think there's a whole conversation that could happen there. But I agree with that. It's like, I think maybe just have no expectations is better than expecting the worst. Passing the buck, number 2. If you feel you deserve to be happy, and this is where you insert kid, parent, spouse, job, car, or new pair of shoes, is supposed to make you happy, keep reading. There's absolutely positive proof that that's just not true. And for a moment, something else can actually boost us up, but it's only a matter of time before we're looking for the next thing. It's an insatiable cycle that won't result in long-term happiness. I do agree with that. Rather, your happiness is your own responsibility. Try turning the focus within. What are the gifts that I have? Who am I? And what do I have uniquely to offer? And when I go and offer that, I feel better and I feel happier. That's essentially what Aristotle meant by fulfillment, says Ryan. It has nothing to do with anyone or anything else. And that is true. That's very true. If we can kind of keep that whole mentality, I think it's at least steered in the right direction. Number 3, thinking life should be perfect and yours isn't. So guilty of this for like half of my life. For starters, the world isn't perfect. So you're fighting a losing battle if you think yours can be. Ask yourself 3 questions at the end of the day. What am I thankful for today? What did I enjoy today? And what am I satisfied about today? And you're not allowed to say nothing when you answer those questions. You have to come up with something. So I think those are good questions to ask. What am I thankful for? What did I enjoy? And what am I satisfied with today? And if you really look for those things, maybe that's just a better headspace to be in. Number 4, one of the happiness roadblocks, not thinking of others ever. No, I've often said I don't care what people think of me, but I think that's a little different than thinking of others. It turns out being generous can make you happier. You don't have to have $1 million to donate to the charity of your choice to reap the benefits either. People who simply do 5 small random acts of kindness, putting a quarter in someone else's parking meter, opening the door for someone, have been found to be happier than those who don't. In doing these things, we activate the parts of our brain that give us a little endorphin boost, so we feel better. And you know what, there is something to be said. I used to manage a women's health facility, and we talked a lot at the facility about serotonin, and I learned a lot about serotonin when I was going through my depression. And serotonin is the happy chemical in your brain, and you can boost it with omegas, you can boost it with exercise, And it's something that when you are actually, there's a chemical depletion of that serotonin, it's difficult to remain happy physically. So there is something chemically going on, absolutely. So you can also, when I was saying about exercising and things like that, you can also give yourself that kind of rush by just doing good things, so that you're exercising all of that, and it all raises up those serotonin levels. Number 5, expecting life to be fair. Life isn't fair. And fretting about the lack of fairness that exists essentially leads to comparing yourself, your life, or your situation to someone else's, and then feeling worse about yourself, or your life, or your own situation. The trick is to stop comparing. When I read that phrase, life isn't fair, it reminded me of my sister talking to her children one time, and they were arguing about something, and they said, "Well, Mommy, that's not fair." And she says, "Well, I wasn't trying to be fair." I always laugh at that, because it's just like, some issues are not about fair or not fair. Sometimes life just has its issues that have nothing to do with those topics. So I thought that was kind of comical. But MJ says the bottom line is that the trick with all of these is to catch yourself on the negative thinking road and make a choice to think about it differently instead. You want to build the positive habits like a road that exists alongside the negative ones. It's there, your stress, worry, anger, whatever it is, but you're building another way of looking at life, approaching life, dealing with people. It's substituting those thoughts for more wholesome thoughts. So now, while I agree with most of what I read, I still go back to my same thought process, which is, am I purpose-driven or am I goal-oriented? And I used to be a very goal-oriented person where everything was all about getting to the next thing. And I do have goals, don't get me wrong, but I'm not driven by them on a daily basis. I really am always trying to find my purpose in things. So for me personally, since I have come to a greater understanding of my existence, I'm way happier. And when I'm chasing these gigantic goals, I don't really find happiness. And we see that with very rich people who don't know what else to chase, and then consequently they're not happy either. When I pay attention to where I am needed on a daily basis in the bigger picture and worry less about myself, I'm way happier. I feel like a warrior or a soldier who has a job to do. I don't question why the universe has me on this particular continent, on the soil, with these people. And I'm constantly looking at what is in front of me and how I can make that situation better. Understanding that there's work to be done keeps me fulfilled. Keeping my eyes on where I'm needed keeps me content. Whenever I become selfish about my needs, I become less happy. I also find that being part of a community where we all move in a wave makes me way happier than when I was this lone soldier. If you're part of a team and you're injured, your team still has a hope of doing well. But if you head to the Olympics and break an ankle at the airport, you are out of the game completely. We are better as a part of a bigger plan than alone. Are you able to ask for help? Do you feel safe reaching out to others? Do you know where and how to slot yourself into the bigger picture? Or are you still trying to do things your way? These are all questions I've been asking myself. And if your answer to "are you happy" is yes, I guess you're just doing everything right. But if you feel like you are fighting the brick wall with little or no results, I hope you will take comfort knowing you are not alone, and you can be part of a team who will embrace you and love you. Yes, happiness does come from inside. It is our mindset that matters, but it's a big, heavily populated world with lots of like-minded spirits, and there are so many of us who feel your pain. And I signed off, in pursuit of the ultimate chocolate ice cream, because that's happiness. I also ended with a quote: happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. And that's a Mohandas Gandhi quote, which I absolutely agree with. So I want to share that with you. The reason why the pursuit of happiness, I think, is such a widespread topic is because everybody's still trying to figure it out. And I thought, well, at least as a community, maybe we can try to figure it out. And if you have your thoughts, I would love to hear them on what you think it means to be happy, what it means to be content. And I think just by sharing those, you can help other people in the community. All right, so until next time, rock on.